and Abu Ja'far al-Mansur, the Abbasi king who ruled at the beginning of the Abbasi state, also showed much respect to Abdullah ibn al-Hasan. But the children, the sons of Abdullah ibn al-Hasan, they became political opponents of the Abbasi dynasty. And so the king turns against the person he used to respect and imprisons him. And he dies in prison at the age of 75 years old.
This is Abdullah?
Yes. Ibn al-Imam, the son of Imam al-Hasan. Okay. When Imam Zayd now became, I guess, roughly 20 years of age or thereabout, I'm trying to get a very good sense of this for you. He began to leave Al-Medinah. Al-Medinah was considered by many of the Imams until that time to be their residence. They weren't in the habit of leaving Al-Medinah. Zayd was the first person who broke from this tradition. He left. He would go to Iraq, he would go to other parts of Arabia, he would go to Sham. He'd go. I mean, he'd come back to Al-Medinah, but he wasn't limited to or confined to Al-Medinah like his father or his uncle or these. He didn't agree with that. The only time the Imams in his family line, the only time they would leave Al-Medinah was when they would go to Hajj. So then they're back to Al-Medinah. Imam Zayd, his motivation for leaving Al-Medinah was basically to acquire knowledge. There was a lot of knowledge in Iraq, and that was his major attraction point. In Iraq, he met with Wasil ibn Ata. Remember this person? Wasil ibn Ata, who's considered to be the founder of the Mu'tazilis that we spoke about. Seemed like many generations ago. Time really. So they were almost the same age, and they became colleagues, very intimate with each other. They exchanged ideas. They almost like opened up their internal thoughts to each other. You can say that. That is why you will see in history books and in the bibliographies that many people consider, when it comes to issues of doctrine, we're not talking about fiqh, we're not talking about politics, we're talking about doctrine. When it comes to issues of doctrine, many people lump the Zaydis and the Mu'tazilis together. And it goes back to this affinity and to this meeting of minds between Imam Zayd and Wasil ibn Ata. Imam Zayd was leaving the peninsula and building up a relationship with these other scholars and peoples around. So this one stood out as being exceptional, the relationship between Imam Zayd and Wasil ibn Ata. At this time, Imam Zayd began to stand out as a scholar, and there were students who were beginning to come and attend his presentations. He was known to have been intensely submerged in the Quran. You know, when we studied and we spoke about other scholars, there was a lot of them who emphasized the hadith They began with emphasis on the hadith. I mean, they would memorize the Quran, but it appears that Imam Zayd's knowledge of the Quran was of a magnitude that places him above the rest. One of the particular areas that he was knowledgeable of, way beyond his peers, his equivalents of that time, was his knowledge of the qira'at of the Quran. You know, the Quran has 7 qira'at. I know some of our scholars from the Ithna Ashari school of thought, they have problems with this. I can understand the problems they have because they don't know Arabic. And if you don't know Arabic, you have problems with that. What do you mean the Quran is 7 qira'at? It just can't take a grip of what is meant by one qira'ah versus another qira'ah. But, you know, it's a fact, and we feel sorry for those who can't get a grip on this, but that's what a qira'ah, there's no time right now for us to go into the subtleties of the differences between the qira'at, but it's not a difference of conflict. It's not a difference of confusion. It's a difference of substantiation and a difference of supplementation. And there's nothing negative about that. But for people who don't get it, they just don't get it. So Imam Zayd was extremely knowledgeable in this area. Way beyond everyone in his time and generation.
Is it 7 or 10?
No, well, yeah, there's some people who say 10 qira'at, and there's others who say 14, if you want to go on and on. But the consensus and the lack of questions is around 7 qira'at. This is where everyone agrees. When you begin to go beyond that, then you get some scholarly back and forth on the issue, and we don't want to get into that. But the ones that are very well known and very well studied and very well and survived all of the other 7 qira'at. Okay. Now, I'm just going to quote for you a statement by Abu Haneefah. He said, I saw Zayd ibn Ali, and I haven't seen anyone in his generation that is more knowledgeable than him. I haven't seen anyone who has been more quick at a response than him, and no one who is more expressive than him. He had no match. This is Abu Hanifa's words in describing Imam Zayd. Abdullah ibn Al-Hussein said to Hussein, the son of Zayd, he said to him that the closest of your fathers to me, meaning your father, grandfather, and uncles and these, the closest one was Zayd, for whom among us, meaning the Hassani extended family and the Husseini extended family, among both of these extended families, there was no one equivalent to Zayd. At that time, and for reasons that either you're familiar with or you are not familiar with, it is known that the Imams, Imam Zainul Abideen, Imam Muhammad Al-Baqir, Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, they were not intensely involved in the political affairs of that time. That doesn't mean they didn't know politics. That didn't mean that they were weak in their heart or anything like that. No. For their own reasons, they didn't get involved.